They say humiliation burns hotter than fire. I disagree. It freezes you first, solid, still, silent, until your pulse becomes your only warmth. I remember the splash. Cold water clawed at my dress as I sank into the marble fountain, my reflection breaking into ripples of shame. My father's laughter, deep, sharp, cut through the music. My mother's smirk, my sister's whisper to her groom. She's always been the embarrassment. The guests clapped like trained seals. Cameras flashed. I smiled through the dripping mascara, my hair heavy with humiliation, and said softly, "Remember this moment." They thought I was defeated. They thought wrong. 2 years earlier, I still believed family meant loyalty. I had worked in silence, building my startup, while they mocked every failure. "You'll never make money selling apps," my father said. "You need a husband, not ambition." And my sister, perfect, poised Emily, took everything I ever wanted and made it hers. The attention, the affection, even my ideas. She once told me, "You're smart, but no one listens to quiet girls." She was right, until I learned that silence can be the sharpest weapon. When I caught her message by accident, I felt my stomach turn. A text on my father's phone. "I'll convince her to sell the company. Dad says she doesn't deserve it anyway." My own blood plotting to strip me clean. I didn't confront them. I just watched, observed their patterns, their greed, their laughter at my expense. And I planned. I sold the company 6 months later, quietly, for 8 figures. The buyer? A shell corporation owned by my husband, Michael. They thought it failed, that I was left penniless. They pitied me, insulted me, mocked me for being unmarried and useless. Good. I needed them to believe it. Michael wasn't just my husband. He was the kind of man who could destroy reputations with a phone call and rebuild empires overnight. We met years ago at a conference, both loners at the edge of a crowd that thrived on noise. I didn't tell my family about him. I'd learned by then, they ruin what they can't control. When he proposed, I told him I didn't want a ring. I wanted revenge. Slow, quiet, devastating. He smiled and said, "Then we'll do it properly." So we built the game together, piece by piece. By the time Emily's wedding day arrived, every thread of the stage was set. The venue was my father's pride, his estate, his symbol of power. I walked in alone, deliberately late. Heads turned, whispering started. My dress was plain, my hair simple, a deliberate contrast to Emily's glittering excess. I could feel their pity circling like vultures. Then came my father's roar from across the courtyard. She couldn't even find a date! He staggered forward, drunk on champagne and arrogance, and pushed me hard. I fell backward into the fountain, water splashing over silk and stone. The laughter was instant, ugly, alive. I looked up at them through the ripples, smiled, and said, "Remember this moment." Because I knew, in 20 minutes, their world would tilt. The first sign was the hum of black engines outside the gate. 5 luxury cars rolled in. Men in tailored suits stepped out, followed by Michael. Calm, tall, the kind of presence that silenced a crowd before he even spoke. My family froze. He walked straight to me, his hand reaching out to help me from the fountain. Water dripped from my fingertips onto his immaculate jacket. He didn't flinch. He kissed my hand, then turned to the stunned crowd. "I apologize for the delay," he said, his voice even. "My wife insisted we let her family enjoy their last moments of pride before learning who owns this estate now." The silence was surgical. My father blinked, confused. "What are you talking about?" Michael smiled slightly. "You should read your emails, Robert. The bank accepted our offer last night. The debt you hid from your daughter? Cleared. The property? Ours. Gasps. A few guests stepped back. My sister's face went white beneath her makeup. I stepped closer, water still dripping, mascara streaking my cheeks. I told you to remember this moment, I said softly, because this is the last time you'll ever look down on me. Emily opened her mouth, but no words came. I could see it, the cracks forming in her perfect world, the realization that I'd outplayed them all. Within hours, the guests had scattered. My parents packed what they could before Michael's team arrived to change the locks. Emily's groom avoided her eyes. The estate, their legacy, was gone. I didn't gloat, I didn't shout, I just watched. Silent, cold, complete. Later that night, Michael found me standing by the same fountain, now empty of water. "You don't regret it?" he asked. I looked down at the marble, remembering the laughter, the cold, the humiliation. "No," I said. "They taught me how to survive humiliation. I just taught them what it costs." He smiled. "You're colder than I thought." I turned to him, a faint,